The darkness settled like a heavy blanket as I drove down the deserted highway, the only source of light being the faint glow of my headlights. Rain splattered against the windshield, distorting the world outside into a surreal painting of blurry shapes. I'd never been a fan of driving at night, but circumstances had forced me onto this desolate road. The road stretched ahead like a long, winding tunnel, with nothing but darkness beyond. My phone buzzed, illuminating the car's interior for a moment. I glanced at the message. It was from my friend Sarah. She was waiting for me at the cabin we had rented for the weekend, urging me to hurry, but the road seemed endless. I adjusted the radio, hoping that some music would alleviate the growing tension. Static crackled through the speakers, punctuated by snippets of unintelligible voices. I frowned and turned it off, the silence now feeling even more oppressive. I blinked, trying to focus my tired eyes on the road ahead, but then I saw it. A figure standing in the middle of the road. My heart leaped into my throat as I slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching against the wet pavement. The figure was shrouded in darkness, barely visible through the rain-soaked windshield. I stared in horror, my breath catching in my throat. I couldn't make out any details, only a vague silhouette that seemed to defy the natural world. A sense of dread settled over me and a chill ran down my spine. I honked the horn, hoping the figure would move, but it remained stationary, as if taunting me. Panic surged through my veins, and I considered throwing the car into reverse and getting as far away as possible. But I couldn't tear my eyes away from the figure, my curiosity warring with my fear. I reached for my phone, intending to call for help, but the screen remained black. My heart raced as I tried to restart it, but it was as if the device had gone dead. The car's engine also sputtered and died, leaving me in eerie silence. I looked up, and the figure was gone. My heart pounded in my chest as I scanned the road, searching for any sign of movement. The rain continued to fall, a steady drumming that seemed to echo in the emptiness around me. A faint sound reached my ears, a soft whisper carried by the wind. I strained to listen, my senses on high alert. The words were indistinct, like a murmur from a forgotten dream. The feeling of being watched intensified, and I realized that I was no longer alone on that desolate road. Fear gripped me, and I fumbled to lock the car doors. My gaze darted around, searching for any sign of the figure, but the darkness held its secrets close. The rain seemed to be falling harder now, obscuring my vision even further. And then in the distance, I saw a faint light. Relief surged through me as I realized it was another car approaching. I waved my arms frantically, hoping to signal for help. But as the car drew closer, my hope turned to dread. The car was old, its headlights flickering like dying embers. It moved slowly, almost gliding along the road. My heart sank as I realized that there was something wrong with the vehicle. It was swaying from side to side, as if it were being controlled by some unseen force. I felt a surge of adrenaline, my instincts screaming at me to get away. But I was trapped, the car's engine refusing to start. The approaching vehicle was now just a few feet away, its distorted headlights casting an eerie glow on the rain-soaked road. The car passed by me, its windows opaque and shadowed. But as it did, I caught a glimpse of the figure sitting in the driver's seat, a figure with hollow eyes that seemed to bore into my soul. The whispering grew louder, a chorus of unintelligible voices that filled the air. I closed my eyes, praying that this was just a nightmare, that I would wake up safe and sound. But when I opened them again, I was still there, still trapped on that desolate road with the rain and the darkness as my only companions. The figure's car disappeared into the distance, the whispering gradually fading away. And then, with a sudden jolt, the rain stopped. The darkness lifted and the engine roared to life. I didn't waste a moment, slamming my foot on the gas pedal and speeding away from that nightmare. As I approached the cabin, the rain began to fall once more, as if the events of that night were fading into the recesses of memory. I stumbled out of the car, my heart still racing, and saw Sarah waiting on the porch. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern etched on her face. I nodded, my voice trembling as I recounted what had happened on that lonely stretch of road. She listened in silence, her expression growing more somber with each passing word. "Sometimes," she finally said, "those roads lead to places we're not meant to go. It's as if the darkness itself warns, tries to keep us away from the secrets it holds." I couldn't help but shiver, the memory of that night etched into my mind.